You know, a lot of people are anti-meth, but I want to explain to you why you should not be anti-meth. What lines we use, what tanks we use, what controllers we use. Port injection is not really correct on a stock LT cylinder head, but I've seen more cars burn up on port injection than I have on direct injection itself. Alec from Late Model Performance here. We're going to talk about meth today on your supercharged setup and why it's necessary. Just to be clear, is what we found that really works well. Our shop's opinion. You know, a lot of people are anti-meth, but I want to explain to you why you should not be anti-meth. First off, when we install methanol kits, it gets straight methanol in the tank. Okay, so that means no 50-50 juice bull crap going on, washer fluid, none of that crap. It's got to be methanol. I don't care what brand it is, but we use VP. It's because we deal with them. I wanted to talk about our meth kits in general. Why we do what we do. It's a little bit different than most. And we do use the Alky controller. I really like Julio's. Customer support's extremely good. Very rarely he'll have a failure with his controller or anything like that. I'm going to go over, I guess, what lines we use, what tanks we use, what controllers we use. We get a lot of phone calls calling up here and people want to do port injection on like a 700 to 900 horsepower build, and it's not really necessary in my opinion. And I'll go over why it's not necessary and how port injection is really not correct. Port injection is not really correct on a stock LT cylinder head. It can be done, but it's kind of a band-aid in my opinion. And now all this is a band-aid to fuel it for the direct injection stuff. I wish direct injection technology was a little bit better. We could just not run port injection at all. I would not run port injection in my car if I didn't have to. To get down to this, we do use the Alky controller. We use all Brown & Miller lines and they're stainless steel. So we just get a controller from Julio and we kind of do the rest on ourselves here. This stuff is really way overkill for a meth kit. Use a pretty much high pressure hose. You can use this on dash 4. This is dash 4 for nitrous lines, so it can really withstand some pressure, but it's extremely durable and it holds up forever. Stainless fittings on the end of them. Here's some fittings here for not on the line, and we use stainless collars on them. So, and then Julio does have an option to where all his kits come pretty standard with brass, but we opt out for the stainless, and he sells the stainless nozzles. So if you guys do call and get a meth kit, not from us, if you call and get a meth kit from him, I highly suggest doing the stainless nozzles. It just looks way better for starters than a brass piece from Home Depot, and it just holds up really, really nice. So everything's stainless on this deal. All of our meth kits are stainless. Fittings from all the way to the back of the car or in the windshield washer reservoir to the front at the intake. Another thing we do is we typically do run the bigger pumps. He has an option for a bigger pump to run, and we run them in pretty much all of our trunk tanks. And it's a little bit more pressure, which is a little bit more flow even through the nozzles. We at least do 215 nozzles at all times. Sometimes we add a third, which would be a 10. And the reason why we do 2 and not 1 nozzle is because say if it does fail, very unlikely, but say if it does fail and it don't work at all, the car will pretty much fall on its face. I mean, you're gonna tell it's down quite a bit. You should be able to with common sense. If you have 1 nozzle in there not spraying much, then you can still beat on the thing and it's not going to feel too much of a difference compared to 3 nozzles would, and it's going to really just tank. So you're going to know there's a problem and you can catch it before catastrophic stuff does happen. And another benefit of running at least 2 of them is it cools the blower. You know, the blowers, I don't care what blower it is, they create a bunch of heat. It's just what they do. Even Pro Chargers will create a bunch of heat out. You have intercoolers on it, but you need the most dense air as possible going into right before hitting that intake valve. It's just going to make more power. Methanol is the coolest burning fuel out there out of anything. It shits on 85 for cooling. It's just, if you dip your hand in methanol, if you're not familiar with it, it's ice cold, even if you let it sit outside in 95-degree weather. If you dip it in a can, it freezes your hand about. So another benefit of running meth in a root style blower, factory 2650, even the Whipple stuff, doesn't matter, is it seals the rotors a little bit better, so it actually creates more boost, gains more power just from doing that. You'll probably see about a half of a pound of boost gain. It depends on your blower. If it's really worn out or if it's fresh, you can see upwards, we've seen upwards of over a pound of boost gain by putting meth on some really worn out rotors. And that itself will gain power just because of the rotor seal. And then it's cooling it. So it's just a big benefit of doing it really all the time. Another big benefit of having a meth kit on the car is if you're on 93, if you want to stay on 93. It gives you a little bit more of a tuning window to get more aggressive in the tune with some timing when you're not on ethanol. So you're going to make more power just from tuning it a little bit more aggressively on 93 and methanol than just straight 93 with no meth. And 93 burns extremely hot. Any kind of gasoline just burns hot. So if you're on Q16, it burns hot. It just opens the window up when you're on race fuel to get after it and tune because more octane. If you're on 93, I really, really, really suggest doing a methanol kit. And if you don't have 85 in it, then these are your ticket to gain a little bit more power. It's just one of the things that is my opinion. I know that there's probably some hate that's going to happen in the comments. We had some hate on the 2650 versus 1.7, but we really mastered the 1.7, and I'm not telling anyone to do that to their car with what I got going on in my personal car. And this is just a broad statement to kind of avoid phone calls. Not avoid phone calls, but avoid a lot of questions when people call. They're like, I don't want to run meth, I want to run port. Well, some of the problem is with port injection is you got 8 more injectors on a whole nother controller, and the head from the factory, the LT1 or LT4 head, is not designed to have a lot of really any fuel going through it. It's a dry cylinder head. So GM has spent millions and millions of dollars designing a cylinder head to not have any fluid going through it. Now, when you do have a meth kit, you will have some fluid going through it, but not nearly as much as a port injection. The problem is with port injection, I'll just be pretty simple, long story short here, is you have high pressure in the chamber with direct injection, but you have low pressure on the port injection side coming into it. So when that hits the intake valve and then it enters into the chamber and you spark it, the chamber, the piston design, everything about it is really not made to have that happen. I do know that LT5s have factory port injection, but they were really not designed for performance side of it to have port injection. It was really for heating the cats up when they're cold or whatever. GM really didn't design it to add a bunch of fuel in there on a dry cylinder head. And I'm talking someone that's making 11, 12, 13, 1500 horsepower. If you have a stock style cylinder head, some funny things can happen with your tune-up. I've seen like just spark plugs, when you pull the plugs out, they just don't look the same. You would think it's rich, but it's lean. It's very, very complicated when you start getting down to it. Now, leaning on a tune-up, you can tune something safe and let it out the door on port injection, but I've seen more cars burn up on port injection than I have on direct injection itself. And that's for a simple fact of tuners out there just aren't watching it closely. And I'm not saying port injection is a bad thing. You got a lot of bullshit going on in the engine bay, and no one does it clean. That's another problem. So if you guys call up here and ask me to work on a car that's already got port injection, I literally turn it away immediately because I don't know what the dumpster fire is. A lot of it's a fire hazard from not plumbing it right. And it's just, the problem is out there right now is there's companies out here trying to make everything a little bit better. So like you come out with an in-tank pump setup, which I think is a fantastic idea, then an aux kit. Aux kits are fine, but the in-tank is really the best way to do it. But the problem is you run factory fuel lines to it, factory 3/8 fuel lines, and then you got port injection on top of it, and you don't change the fuel lines. In-tank setup with a factory fuel line, you can get away with it a pretty good bit, but when you introduce port injection onto it, and so you got the direct injection and the port injection. You got 16 injectors running off 3/8 fuel line. You might have the pump to support it on the low side, but it's not necessarily going to get the volume there on a 3/8 fuel line. So you guys got to watch that. Just installers, shops, everything. If you're trying to make upwards 11, 12, 1300 horsepower, you should really have a bigger fuel line on the car to do it properly, I should say. You know, now I know people are getting away with it, but it's just totally wrong. If you call up here, if you want to do port injection, it's going to be done right. So it's going to get an aftermarket casting cylinder head, the CID, and the Edelbrock race head is a nice piece, and that's like the only two aftermarket castings out there on the market right now. I really like the Edelbrock LME head. We make headers for it in the Camaro. That's what I run on my personal car. That's what we run on big horsepower builds. We do some differences in the chamber a little bit when we get them from LME to make sure that it is proper with port injection, and the piston design is going to be a little bit different when we build an engine. So, but if you guys are stock engines, stock fuel lines, trying to make upwards of 1,000 to 1,100, it's really not the right way to be doing it, and it's very costly to kind of switch, do a different cylinder head design and do fuel lines. It's very costly to do that, so I kind of stay away from it until we do really built engines and just trying to make a lot of power. I mean, we like to stay around the not 800 or 700 to under 1,000 mark with stuff coming in and out of here. For one, you're never going to be married to any kind of shop. If you make over 1,000, you're typically married to the shop. You're going to have problems. It could be breaking axles. It might be whatever, but typically transmission issues, like we like to stay around the 900 mark, and this is a really good way of doing that. We've been doing this stuff for a long time with meth kits. We got several of them running out there. All of our record cards have meth kits on them, and we don't have problems. You just can't be an idiot. You know, you gotta have common sense. If you get these lights in there, these little LED lights, you get two of them. One will go red when it gets low, is a low level sensor in the meth kit, and the other one will light up green at wide open throttle, and that just means it's like putting gas in your car. Fuel light comes on, put meth in it. You know, make sure this guy's working at wide open throttle. The phone keeps ringing. You really just can't be an idiot when it comes to having a 700 horsepower car, for example. If you can't fill your meth tank up occasionally and just happen to look down during the pool, not stare at it, but just glance over and make sure it's green, then you probably shouldn't have a 700 horsepower car or a 900 horsepower car. You know, there's a lot of people, and the internet's really misleading of how much 900 really is in one of these things, especially with a blower on it. It's plenty of power to really go into the 9s and the high 8s. And that's a fast car. Like, if you want to go into the 7s and all that crap, then you're going to dump not just a bunch of money. You can't just come in here and spend XYZ and expect it to go XYZ at the racetrack. You're going to keep dumping money into it consistently. What we found the best is like a high 9-second car to mid 9-second car, and typically people don't come back. They just go run it, do the oil changes. Very low maintenance. After that, it starts getting deeper on the pocket, and you start breaking more things. If this guy does not light up green at wide open throttle, if it's like red, green, that means it's still spraying, but there could possibly be a leak, or the pump's not seeing 100, the sensor's not seeing 100 PSI, and that could just be a simple controller fix. You can just adjust these guys on the back here. So it's a little bit different per combination. So they spray green when they leave here. If you also run your meth bone dry and you get an air pocket in it, it could take a couple pulls for it to go green again instead of red green. So just don't let the meth kit go dry. And I would say 9.5, 10 times it's not a leak. It's usually a controller issue or the pump's getting tired. Usually we tell people to replace the pump every 2 years. And they're pretty cheap. They're $160 or something. The maintenance on this stuff is like next to none. You can let the thing sit all winter with meth in the tank full, and it's not going to corrode or anything. Actually, if you run Q16, that's way worse fuel to corrode than anything to do with methanol. Methanol is really not that bad. It's really overrated and over talked about how it corrodes and everything. If you let air get to it, so if you let say if you ran meth through it before, but you let it and you drain it all out, and and you let it sit for 5 months, yeah, it's going to corrode because air's getting to it. But it's just like bad gas in a lawnmower. You let the lawnmower sit for over the winter, you got to drain the fuel and put new fuel in it. It's really no different, to be honest with you. It's not high maintenance at all. It's a really good way of just cooling the air down and you're fueling it. So, you know, it just depends on your application and what you're doing. I'm not telling you guys what to do. Some of you guys like road course really hard. If you do that, then you need a pretty big meth tank, or just don't run it. You know, you have to go straight E85, and you might have port injection. You might have to do port injection for that. So it just all depends on what you want to do and how you want to run your car. Drag racing, I really suggest this stuff. We do have several kits we sell. This one's for the V3, and it comes with the pump mount underneath. It goes in the back right cubby. So it's a nice piece. It has a sump in it. This one's for the Blackwing. The pump's mounted to it right here. It comes with everything you need. You don't need to buy anything if you buy a kit from us. We also do offer a funnel. We 3D print this, and this withstands methanol. It's not going to go bad, so you don't spill it all in the trunk. Yeah, it's just pretty simple maintenance. If a light comes on, put methanol in it, and just occasionally look down during a pull, make sure it is lighting up green. Yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to go over. We have these on the shelf, and they're around $2,000, but it's a very nice kit compared to what you're going to buy to anyone else selling a kit out there. It's a turnkey thing. This is for the Blackwing. For the V3, we do have a ZL1 kit. These tanks are specifically made to go into the trunk of your car. It's not a plastic tank that you just bolt in there with 2 aluminum straps, and it looks like it came out of Home Depot. That gets on my nerves. If you're doing something, do it right. And it's a couple extra dollars to have the proper tanks for the proper cars. And we do sell just the tanks if you want them, but then you're gonna have to piece all this stuff together. But we sell a turnkey kit. The lines are made. It's very simple. That's my intake on Meth.